I mean, the one that I had in Greymouth, it was one of two. I had one from a different bakery in Greymouth as well. So I think the theory is looking pretty strong.
Yeah. How good did it taste, by the way?
Well, it had that real, like that kind of ersatz, like fake raspberry flavour in the pink layer, which sometimes you just can't go too artisanal. You have to keep it real.
Do you know much about the marshmallow slice? Is it a New Zealand thing?
Well, I tried to do. I'm at a very nascent stage in my research, and I tried to do a bit of digging just now. I did find in the Evening Star in 1933 there was a recipe for marshmallow gingerbread, which incorporated marshmallow into a gingerbread and then had like a toasted marshmallow layer on top. That was the earliest I could find from 1933. But I mean, we think about. I think marshmallow in New Zealand, we've got quite a strong connection there with your chocolate fish, your pinky bars, your buzz bars, all those sorts of things.
Your mallow puff?
The mallow puff.
In fact, what is a mallow puff if not a marshmallow sliced with chocolate on it?
I mean, you could argue that. It's true. Yeah. It doesn't quite have the same, like, fluffiness that a homemade marshmallow has. But,
Melita, I wonder if we need to talk to Helen Leach, our food historian. She'll appreciate getting a phone call that isn't about whether pavlova was invented. We have talked to her before. Yeah. It
could be a new Kiwi icon. I mean, we could be onto something.
She has recipe books going way back here in New Zealand, and I've talked to her before about slice topping inflation. So that bit on top of a ginger slice or a toffee sort of crunch or caramel slice has been going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over the years.
Yeah. And sometimes less is more.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, Jane. Well, I tell you what. Leave it with us. We'll ask if our listeners have any observations, and we'll see if we can get to the bottom of this one.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear it. And if we could sort of start seeing a few more in Upper North Island, I'd be delighted to hear that too.
Yeah, okay. If we spot any, we'll send them your way.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks, Jane Grofsky, whose day job is Project Curator of History at the Auckland War Memorial Museum. But she's currently focused on this marshmallow slice. 2101, if you can shed any light on it. Rob, who's from where? Whanganui, Rob? Has Wellington. Rob's from Wellington. He'd never heard of one. In fact, he wonders if Jane might be making it up. But I've Googled it, and there's plenty of recipes about. So we'll see where we get to. Get in touch.
RNZ News at 2. Good afternoon. I'm Marama Tipole. 2 people have died and a third person is in a critical condition after a stabbing in the Auckland suburb of Epsom. The police say 2 people died at the scene despite efforts to save them. A third person found at the home is being taken to hospital in a critical condition. Police and emergency services vehicles are still at the scene, and an area of Green Lane Road West and the drive has been cordoned off. The Epsom MP, David Seymour, says the community is shocked and saddened by the incident. The police are due to hold a media conference about now, and you can watch that at rnz.co.nz. A resident in Epsom says it's normally a peaceful and quiet part of the city. Pankaj Maheshwari has lived in the area for 20 years and says he kept hearing police sirens one after the other.
This is a very peaceful suburb. At the end of the day, one never expects this kind of a situation to actually arise, and just literally a stone's throw away. So it's just very unfortunate.
Epsom resident Pankaj Maheshwari. The government is ruling out a cap on the number of tourists visiting the country as it plans how it will make the tourism industry more sustainable. Outlining his vision for a reimagined industry, the Tourism Minister, Stuart Nash, said the effects of COVID-19 mean it will be expensive to travel to New Zealand for the next few years. He says that will make it an unaffordable destination for low-spending travellers, such as backpackers, limiting the number who chose to come here. Mr Nash says he can't rule out increases to costs for visitors to national parks and those doing the Great Walks, or putting up the $35 border fee charged to tourists. There have been 10 new positive cases of COVID-19 in managed isolation since Wednesday, but there are none in the community. The number of active cases is 55. A Health Ministry spokesperson says that number has dropped substantially today following the discovery that the number of active cases has been over-reported due to a process issue. Some recovered cases had been discharged, but their status was not updated in reporting systems. The Dental Association is backing a plan to give the Director General of Health decision-making power on the fluoridation of water supplies. At the moment, that decision is in the hands of local councils, and the previous national government had proposed...
Oh, you want me in closer? We'll start again. Hi, obviously, my name's Scott Beard, Detective Inspector of the Auckland City Police. It is very early in the investigation, so at the end of my statement, I'll let you ask some questions, but I'm not going to put you in a position, I suspect, to answer all of them. So, at about 11:30 a.m. this morning, police were called to the scene here, and ambulance staff were already here, and there's two people, a male and a female, inside who are deceased from what appears to be stab wounds. Two other people have been taken to Auckland Hospital, one in a critical condition and is undergoing surgery right at this moment. Please just want to reassure the public, we're not looking for anyone else outside of the people that we're dealing with now. It's a normal homicide. Investigation has begun, so we'll be doing a scene examination, we'll be doing an area canvass. Over the weekend, the post-mortems will be conducted, and we'll be making inquiries and notifying family and friends. You know, this is obviously a double homicide. It's a tragedy. There are going to be family members out there who are grieving as a result. Any questions?
Is this a family harm incident?
Look, at this stage, until we've formally identified people and we've spoken to some of the witnesses, I can't say for sure.
Did this happen inside the building?
It appears to have happened inside the building. At this stage, until we've formally identified everybody, particularly the deceased, I can't comment on that.
Were they all living in that unit together?
Once again, because it's very early in the investigation and we don't know. We haven't contacted the owner of the premises. It's very early in the investigation.
Do you know if they were known to each other?
It would appear they were known to each other, but I can't give that assurance until our investigation has progressed.
Were any of them known to...
Yeah. Two other people have been taken to Auckland Hospital, one in a critical condition and one with some superficial injuries.
Can you provide any information about how the fourth person was involved, whether they were directly related or caught up?
Look, until we have interviewed the people who are able to be interviewed and we've done some background investigative work, I can't comment.
Do you have an ambulance alerted to?
The ambulance got a phone call and came here, they arrived, they contacted police. I haven't heard that phone call, I don't know the detail.
Any indication what caused the stab wounds, the stab injuries?
No, until the post-mortem has been completed, we won't be able to give that assurance on that.
You're going to say you're not looking for anyone else? Is there or any of the suspects, the people that have been injured?
Look, the person who's had the superficial injuries was able to speak to us initially, but they're obviously at the hospital. So until we get everything and everybody interviewed, we don't know the full story here.
Okay, but you're not looking for anyone outside of the four people who have been?
We're not looking for anyone else though.
So have you got weapons or weapons in your hand?
Well, until the scene examination has been completed, we won't know what we have there.
Were any of the four known to police already?
I can't comment on that, I don't.
What nationality were they?
No, until we've had them formally identified, not in a position to say. No, we have staff up just talking. I think we're starting to get into repeated sort of questions here. I can only say so much because it's very early stages. We will come back with updated information as we have it.
Was it one of the two in the hospital who rang the police?
I can't say.
Obviously an incredibly tragic incident under some circumstances. What is your message to the family members of those who are involved?
Part of the police investigation will be providing victim support to family members involved, and we're there, and we have specialised victim support people trained in homicide investigations to assist.
What about the neighbourhood? The neighbours are a bit rapid. Are they safe?
Well, as I say, we've said we're not looking for anyone else apart from who we are dealing with at present, and we'll be doing an area canvass, and part of that area canvass will involve some public reassurance.
Is it fair to say that there is no ongoing risk to the community?
At this stage, there's no ongoing risk to the community. Thank you very much. All right, we'll have an update as it goes, very early.
Do you have any indication of when we'll get a further update? Would it be today?
Yes, there'll be another update that will come out.
There you go. There's my media team. Yes.